In the beginning, there was nothing, no sound, no shape, only silence. Then, with a word spoken by the Almighty, light burst forth and darkness fled. The heavens stretched wide, the earth took form, rivers flowed, and mountains rose high. The skies glimmered with stars like scattered jewels, and the seas whispered to the shore in eternal rhythm. Creation itself sang, for it had been touched by the hand of God. And in the heart of this perfect world, the Lord planted a garden, Eden. Its beauty surpassed imagination, trees heavy with fruit of every kind, flowers spilling fragrance into the air, and a river that split into streams, watering every living thing. In that paradise stood one tree unlike any other, the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Its fruit shimmered with mystery, its branches stretched strong, but its purpose was not for man to touch. From the dust of the ground, God formed Adam and breathed life into him. From Adam's side, he fashioned Eve, that they might walk together as the crown of creation. To them God gave the garden and every blessing within it. His voice was gentle yet firm when he spoke, "Of every tree of the garden you may freely eat. But of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, you shall not eat, for in the day you eat of it, you shall surely die." They listened. They trusted. And in their innocence, they lived in peace, clothed in nothing but the glory of their Maker. But lurking in the shadows was one who despised this beauty, one who envied the bond between Creator and creation. The serpent, crafty and cunning, slithered close, its eyes gleaming with deceit. It found Eve near the forbidden tree, her gaze curious though her heart still clung to God's command. Did God really say, the serpent whispered, voice smooth as honey, that you must not eat from any tree in the garden? Eve's brow furrowed, and she answered, we may eat fruit from the trees. But of the fruit of this tree in the middle of the garden, God said, you shall not eat of it, nor touch it, lest you die. The serpent's tongue curled in a sly smile. You will not surely die. God knows that when you eat of it, your eyes will be opened. You will be like him, knowing good and evil. The word stirred something deep inside her, a longing she had never known before. She looked again at the fruit. It was beautiful, shimmering, rich, desirable. Her hand trembled, then reached. She plucked the fruit, bit into its flesh, and tasted the weight of betrayal. She turned to Adam, who stood silent, torn between loyalty to God and love for the one who held the fruit out to him. Love won, though it was the wrong kind. He ate, and in that moment, their eyes were opened, but not to glory. Shame fell upon them like a heavy cloak. They saw their nakedness and hurried to cover themselves with fig leaves, trembling in fear of the one who had given them everything. When the voice of the Lord walked in the garden, they hid among the trees. But no leaf could shield them from his gaze. With sorrow that pierced deeper than wrath, God called out, Adam, where are you? The truth tumbled forth, broken and ashamed. Adam's voice quivered, Eve's eyes brimmed with tears, yet no excuse could erase what had been done. They pointed fingers, Eve to the serpent, Adam to Eve, but the stain of disobedience remained. Trust had been shattered, innocence lost. With sorrow deep as eternity, God declared his judgment. To the serpent he said, because you have done this, cursed are you above all creatures. On your belly you shall crawl, and dust you shall eat all the days of your life. The deceiver's moment of triumph was swallowed by eternal disgrace. Then he turned to Eve. The woman who once laughed with joy in the garden now lowered her head, trembling. I will greatly multiply your sorrow and your pain in childbirth, God said. In pain you shall bring forth children, and your desire shall be for your husband, but he shall rule over you. Her heart ached at the weight of this future, yet within her womb would one day come the seed of hope, though she could not yet understand it. And Adam, the one formed from dust and crowned with glory, heard the words that crushed him, because you listened to your wife and ate from the tree I commanded you not to eat, cursed is the ground because of you. By the sweat of your brow you shall eat bread all the days of your life. Thorns and thistles it shall yield for you, until you return to the ground from which you were taken. For dust you are, and to dust you shall return. A silence hung heavy over Eden, a silence filled with grief. With heavy steps, they were led to the edge of the garden. The gates of Eden, their home, their joy, their perfect communion with God, were shut to them forever. A flaming sword flashed back and forth, and mighty cherubim stood guard, their presence fierce and unyielding, keeping the way to the tree of life. Together they stepped into a world that felt colder, heavier, lonelier. And though Eden was lost, the memory of it burned in their hearts, a reminder of what had been, and a shadow of the promise of what would one day come.